Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing today? I am super excited. I am super nervous because this is a very special, important day for me because this is my first podcast and I am only delighted to share this with someone, with my mentor, with my teacher, with my guide, with all things mediumistic. She is the wonderful Hannah Macintyre. And before I just get you in here, I just want to say Hannah is a best-selling author. She is the host of Mediumship Matters, which has over 400,000 downloads. That's pretty epic, isn't it? She is the Gateway, which is her online school, which I am delighted to be part of. And I am just literally soaring under the umbrella of the Gateway. And she is a spiritual mentor, teacher, guide. She's honest, she's direct. And I love this about her, that she is direct. And she is the wonderful Hannah Macintyre. Welcome, Hannah.
Wow, what an intro. Thanks, Annie. I wish you could just follow me around saying this stuff all the time.
But you are. You are
Thank you.
so much more than even that. But thank you so much for your time today and for doing this for me. Thank you.
It's an honour. I'm excited.
Thank you. So, and Hannah, I had you over last November. And as you know, it was a great success. And anyone that's come through my teachings under my umbrella at the Wellness Centre is very aware of you and everything that I'm doing with you as well in the background. It's not all just what we see here. There's a lot of background work with it as well. And yeah, it was a great success. And then I said, right, I need to have this lady over for a weekend. Everybody needs to be submerged in what it is that you do. And it couldn't be in an hour or two, a whole weekend with you. So can you tell everybody what it is, what to expect over this weekend?
Oh, I'm so excited to be back, Annie T. We did have an amazing time last
Did you?
year. It was just phenomenal energy, great audience. So this time you've invited me back to teach, which I'm really excited about. So as you know, but maybe your listeners will not, my big passion is evidential mediumship. So I like lots of different forms of mediumship, but it's evidential that has sunk its teeth into me.
Yeah.
And evidential is the mediumship version where you are communicating with somebody in the spirit world and bringing through proof of their continued existence, but also reuniting someone with their loved one in the spirit world. So it's the big guns. There's a lot of pressure, but it's also really amazing. It is learning to unfold and open up to blend with a spirit that you've not blended with before. If you work with your spirit guides or angels or anyone like that, you kind of have a continuity of relationship. When you work evidentially, you are learning to blend in a moment with a spirit that you've never worked with before. And it really is incredible. It's incredible the connection that you can have to spirit, and it's incredible the intelligence of the spirit world and how something to you feels like so little and just something you're saying that you're not even sure about, and then you can have someone sat in front of you clutching their face crying that they can't believe that you knew this about their relationship with their loved one. It is life changing, and it is evidential mediumship that started me on my journey. My friend at work got my grandfather through and totally changed the course of my life. Now, I believe that anybody can do mediumship. I don't believe that I'm special. I don't believe that I was born with a gift. I think it's something that is available to all. And so, one of my great passions, as you know,
Yeah.
is breaking it down, making it as easy to understand as I possibly can so that people unlock that power for themselves. And that is what we're going to be doing over 2 days together. So I'm going to explain the mechanics of mediumship, how it works the way that it does, as well as lots of opportunities for practice and having a go yourselves. So the idea is by the time that we finished our 2 days of intensive fun fun together, you will have communicated with a spirit in the spirit world and brought through information about them, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be working together. We're going to be working hard because
Yeah,
I like that and I think
me
that's
too.
important. So you know, get your money's worth, get your
Yeah.
time. But there's going to be exploration of what makes good mediumship, an exploration of the kind of medium that everybody wants to be, because it's personal and it should be. So there's different types of mediums for different types of sitters. So we're going to be looking at that, exploring the medium that you are, the medium that I am, the medium that your attendees are, and letting that unfold in them, giving them just the time to think about that and process that, as
Mm.
well as lots of practice sessions. We have got lots of work about energy, because I'm big on energy. I think it's something that I was never taught. I was taught it from spirit, but how your energy affects a reading, how a sitter's energy affects a reading, how your mindset affects it, all of those kind of things, how we expand into different types of evidence so that we can bring through as much as possible. We will be having a student demonstration. So for students that are brave enough,
Yeah.
they will be getting to have a go
Yeah.
and getting personalized feedback. So it's just a huge, expansive weekend suitable for complete beginners onwards. Anybody that wants to understand a bit more about how evidential mediumship works and recognize that power in themselves.
It's pretty fascinating once you get into it, isn't it? And what you're doing
Yeah.
is you're just helping with those foundations of self. Whereas the
Mhm.
healing, I don't know, how did you start all this, Hannah? How did you get into this?
Yeah, well, very much like you, actually, Annie T. I
Really?
started, oh, well, I started with spirit guides. So I sat in a spirit
Okay.
guide circle um, when I first developed, and I got really good at channeling, working in trance, um, bringing through messages from spirit guides. Then I did all my healing qualifications and did all of that. And
Yeah.
then I set up my business doing card readings and healing. It was called Readings and Reiki, and I used to do
Yeah.
that, and I did that for a few years. But all that time, Evidential just kept going, hey, hey. And I kept thinking, well, I'd know if I could do that because I'd already be doing it. And I should be grateful for working with spirit guides. And eventually,
Yeah.
after quite some time, I decided to follow the evidential path, which has its own frequency, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a big one, but it's a great one. It's so mind-blowingly amazing. And so then I ended up doing that.
I didn't actually know about evidential mediumship till I met you, till I came across you, which was in 2023. And it just kind of goes, the
Mm.
evidence that the person is actually there, that you would know things. And you know, Hannah, you've got this beautiful way of delivering the messages. And when you're in your company and you see that happening between you and the sitter, it's very overwhelming. Like I'd be sitting there just in the corner going, oh my God, how can you just kind of keep it that power without losing it? Because even when I'm doing the Reiki healing, and if somebody's coming to me for that one-on-one, it is very intimate, and that's just Reiki. It's not the mediumship. I just feel that that explosive energy, that emotion, and I'm just like, I suppose, building it up over time, the resilience against that you're holding them, because they're there to be held, to be heard, and you're just holding that space with them. But evidential mediumship absolutely is for sure a choice, isn't it? You have
Yes.
to feel that pull towards it for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that is shrouded in so much mystery by a lot of the teachers that teach it,
Yeah.
that you like I thought, oh well, I'd know if I could do that. Someone would have told me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's what's going to be lovely about our weekend is this is a great way for people who have never heard of it to get a taster,
Yeah.
for people who have heard of it but didn't think it was available to them to have a go with it. So there's so many ways that this is going to help people. I'm really, really excited about it. But
Mm.
it is just a phenomenal privilege to work with this
I was
energy, I
just going to
think.
say that to you. It is a privilege, isn't it? And I had that
Yeah.
conversation with somebody earlier for a one-on-one that I had. It's an absolute privilege to be able and to know that you're worthy of that as well. So that's where the self-belief comes in, and you
Mhm.
healing all of those the beliefs of not being good enough, not worthy enough, of course. And then of course the more healing you do, then you it's kind of like that transformer energy that you're kind of building up this going, oh my God, I am worthy. I'd like it's available to me too. And yeah, without the grandiosis that you're so special or whatever, it's just that
Yeah.
work you're doing on your own foundations. It's absolutely fascinating. And you make it so accessible, and so you keep it real. It's not like, oh, there's this mystery around it, which you would see. And now that you're aware
Yes.
of it, that my eyes are open to it. You do see a lot of that, but I love the way you deliver it, and you just kind of keep it. It's just this is it. We're just having that conversation, and all of a sudden you're in that flow that you've connected in with spirit. So when did you start doing mediumship? Do you remember your first leap of faith that you just went, right, I'm going to do this?
Evidential or evidential?
Evidential or
Oh, well, do you know, it's really funny when I look back because although I say if
yeah,
I was supposed to do this, I would know that I could,
yeah,
I had done it. But in that
okay,
way that we gaslight ourselves and we say
yeah,
we're expecting it to have more bells, more whistles, be more
yeah,
tangible, all of those things.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I used to have a cooking business called Home Cooked by Hannah.
yeah,
And I used to deliver ready meals around the local area and to farm shops and things like that. And
yeah,
when I was sat in my first circle, we did no evidential mediumship at all. It was all spirit guides. So 3 years of learning all spirit guide connection. And one day I went to Mr. Howarth's house, and he lived the other side of my village.
yeah,
And I had been around him. I knew that his wife was unwell. I'd never met her. I think she was in a home,
mm,
and I would deliver him meals and we'd always have a little chat. And he was a northern, very brusque man, no nonsense, quite direct. And
yeah,
one day I went to his house to deliver his meals, and
yeah.
his wife was there in the kitchen in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so strong, Annie, that it honestly felt like was falling off the face of the planet. And I was saying to her, I can't do this right now. I'm here in my professional capacity
Yeah,
delivering meals.
yeah,
I don't want these two worlds to collide. They're supposed to be separate.
yeah,
And she was so insistent, even though she wasn't really speaking, the energy was so insistent. And I remember turning, yeah,
yeah. The
to
push.
Mr. Howarth and just saying, like thinking, oh God, how am I going to do this? And just saying, Mr. Howarth, as well as being a ready meal and a cook,
Yeah.
I also have been sitting in a spiritual circle, and that helps you connect to the spirit world. And I don't want to upset or offend you, but I'm really aware that your wife is here. And he said, all right, like that. And that was all he said.
You're like,
And I was like, oh my God. And
yeah,
it was honestly like, not that she took me over. I had a choice, but it was so strong. It has never been that strong again since.
right.
It was just that one bit where I wasn't looking to do it, but God, it was amazing. And I brought through some evidence,
Yeah,
and he was kind of going, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not really giving me a lot back. And
okay,
then I said to him, she's shown me this big bush and it's got pink flowers all over it. And he went, right. And I said to her, I don't know what that flower is. And she just, peony. So I said, it's a peony, like that. And he went, follow me. And we walked through his hall. He had a little stick, and we
yeah.
went into the
Oh
back of his
well.
house. I'd never been in his living room, never seen it. And he had these big glass doors. And right there was this peony bush covered in pink blooms. And
Oh,
he went, there you go. He said, I just moved it here because it was her favorite and I miss her so much. And it was So mind-blowing. And then he proceeded to tell me that she was a Reiki master. She was a member of a spiritual church. He even got out, she had a little Reiki master badge, Annie T, and he'd
Oh, they
kept it
did
and he
badges?
showed badges. And he showed it to me, and it was just I remember he was crying a bit,
Yeah.
and then I got in my car, and all that emotion and all of that energy
Came
and
out
the
then.
wonder of it, and I was just bawling, and I
Yeah.
couldn't really believe that that had happened. But then nothing, nothing like that for forever, until I chose it. So there was that, and then there was sort of 3 years, 4 years where I did my spirit guide work. It never happened again. It became like a
Okay.
distant memory, and then it came back.
But if he had had a different response to you, it would have probably changed everything. And to hear that his wife was a Reiki master, it kind of cemented something within you to go, oh, it's actually normal to do this, because he would know, living with a Reiki master, God love our husbands, like
Yeah.
seriously, they have to put up with a lot. So he would have
Well,
known that.
exactly. And I
Yeah,
think it was really magical because,
yeah,
I'm big on permission, and, I don't want
yeah.
to do showboaty mediumship where you're doing that kind of thing. Like with her, there was the intelligence of spirit there. So she
So
knew
intelligent.
that he knew how it worked, so
Yeah,
she could do that. And I
yeah,
don't think that would have happened. It was the perfect situation
it
for
was.
that to happen to me. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, what makes great mediumship, Hannah? Like for
Oh,
you, what makes
for
great?
me,
Yeah,
it's the heart of it. It's the
yeah,
presence.
yeah,
I think that you can list a lot of facts about people, and facts are great. But let's be honest, if I was going to a medium to hear from my grandmother, I
yeah,
know the facts about her. So I only need enough proof that she is there. And
yeah.
then what I really want is to be reunited with her. I want to know how she feels about me. I want to know what she's seen. I want to know her opinion on things that are happening in the family. I want to know that she's okay. I want to know who she's with. I want to relive our best moments together. I want to walk down memory lane and remember not just my loss, but the love we shared before I lost her.
Mm.
And that for me makes great mediumship, when there
The
is
emotion,
this, yeah,
the
and the feeling
emotional
of
connection.
reuniting. Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me once. That I had the most profound experience with somebody. I was sitting across from them, and they went into trance, and I didn't know what to expect. And of course, I start feeling all kind of shaky. I kind of get that shaky feeling, so I knew something was coming, something was happening, and her whole face changed. And this woman did not look like my grandmother whatsoever. She was a lot younger than her anyway, but her whole face transformed. And I kept blinking, going, is this really happening? Is this like, what's she going to say? Is she going to say? Is she going to speak? What the hell? And she put her hand on my lap and reached forward. And she said to me, like, even just now, even saying it, it just brings up everything for me. She said, it's so lovely to sit with you once again, Anne. And I swear to God, that's all she had to say. I felt it.
Mhm.
And once you feel it and have that emotional, the tears were flowing. I was just like, this is real. And I need things like that to feel the emotion. And that's what you bring to the table, Hannah. That's what
Good.
you bring to the table. So, what is the process of connecting with spirit guides, loved ones, feel like for you? How does it feel like? Is there
Not a
any?
lot, annoyingly. It used to. When I
Okay,
first started, I'd get a
yeah,
real sort of spirit have arrived kind of energy. And
yeah,
I think that at the very beginning, you do get that. And
yeah,
then as you work with them more and more and more, you
yeah.
kind of acclimatize to the energy.
Don't
And
you?
now it's a bit like, when I walk out on stage and I'm demonstrating,
Yeah,
I'm like, is anybody there? I hope someone's there, because it just feels like every other day. But of course, spirit are here all the time.
yeah,
They're
all the
around
time.
us all the time. So
Yeah,
you you would feel them all the time. So there used to be this amazing sort of shift, and I think it was my energy shifting to meet them. But as I've followed this journey and I've worked on myself and my vibration has risen, that shift no longer needs to occur because I'm already there.
Because you're up
So
in
it,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it
Pretty
doesn't,
cool.
yeah, so it just doesn't
Yeah.
feel like much. And I think that that happens to a lot of students, that they start off and they get this really tangible, big feeling, and they're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then it goes, and they think, what have I done wrong? I've been ghosted by
Yeah.
my own spirit
You
team.
think it's gone, don't you? But it's
Yeah,
actually there. You're just kind of leveling up to the energy. And that's the
yeah,
whole thing about the work that we do when you go into healing, the unpacking, the unfolding, and it's just letting go of those limiting beliefs, of what we think we should be like or how it should be when it's not that at all. Sure, it's not. And when you get your head
absolutely.
around it, it's pretty cool, that you can,
Yes.
you're catching yourself when you're going into those dips. Literally, you're going, no, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to trust this. I'm just going to allow this to come in. I'm going to allow myself to feel it entirely and just keep
Yeah,
moving with it.
absolutely. Trusting it.
Pretty fascinating. So, how do you deal with emotionally charged readings? Or have you had one where you're just like, I can't do this? Or have you been there?
But yeah, I've been there. I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty tough on myself. I know
Yeah.
you students
Oh,
sometimes think I'm tough on you, but I'm way tougher on myself.
yeah.
So, for me, obviously, I'm a Capricorn, which helps
Me too.
because I've got a job to do. So
Yeah.
I can't let it override me, because if I do, I won't do such a good job. And so it's really important for me when people are doing their mediumship that they take themselves out of it. So I will say to myself, it's not about you, Hannah. It's
I
not
know.
about me.
So
And
hard
then you
to do
have to
that,
kind
isn't it?
yeah, it is hard. And you have to just push out. Now, I feel all the feels all the time. I am the most sensitive person I know. I hide it well, but it's all there.
Yeah.
So I will
You
have to
tell
have
us that.
recovery time. Like if I demonstrate,
Yeah.
the days afterwards, my eyes will be leaking tears. I'll be remembering what I felt and what I experienced. But when I'm on a stage or when I'm doing a reading, I put a wall in and I will not allow that wall to overtake me. Now, there have been times when it's you kind of have that thought of, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
I get a lot of babies through, and
Oh,
when you've got someone, a mother whose baby died, and they're, you're talking them through that baby and how all that baby knew was love, and all that baby felt was love, and it knows that you didn't want you to let them go, and all of that, there's part of you that just goes, I don't know if I can cope with this. But
yeah.
you do, because
How
your
to
only other
deliver
choice in that
the
is
right
to,
words, even.
yeah, is to ruin someone's reading. Like if I let that thought of, I don't know if I can do this in, then it will take away from the work that Spirit are trying to do that I've signed up for. So I just cannot allow it. It's hard though.
It's kind of like a different language, a different lingo. It's like when I was introduced to Reiki. I was at a workshop and they were all talking about Reiki, chakras, astrology, tarot. I hadn't a clue what they were talking about, but I knew they were speaking in English, but I didn't get it. And I was
Yeah.
sitting there and I said, sitting in the corner, and I went, "What's a chakra?" And they were like, "You don't know what a chakra was or, is." And they were all laughing. And I was like, of course, felt stupid. And then, of course, I was like, well, I need to know what this is, because everyone around that table had inspired me to do better, to be better. And then it turned out they were all Reiki masters. And I'm like, what's Reiki? What is this?
Yeah.
And then I just realized, oh, this is the journey. This is what you do. This is the one step in front of the other. The ego being the melter to get your head
Yes.
around, because that was the part of you that kept you safe, isn't it? And for
Yes.
so long. So, what advice would you give somebody considering going to see a medium, Hannah,
For a reading,
for a reading? Yeah,
I would suggest that they have an open heart.
yeah,
So we see a lot of rubbish and misinformation online nowadays. Things like setting a password. And that, in theory, sounds like a great idea. Like,
Isn't it?
I get that logically. Well, I'm going to tell my granddad to say purple parakeet because then if he says it, that's brilliant. And you hear people saying all these stories where it's worked. And the thing is, people in spirit, they're no longer in their physical bodies. And what that means is they no longer have a voice box. So when a medium is communicating with a spirit, they're communicating with energy. And that energy, I believe, is filtered through our energy. So sometimes we will get it as words, sometimes it will be pictures, sometimes it will be knowings, sometimes it will be emotions. And our job is to try and piece that puzzle together. But it
Mm.
isn't direct voice. It isn't like you saying to me, "Hi, I'm Anne Trainer, I'm a Reiki master from
Yeah,
Dublin."
yeah,
It's, God, I wish it was.
yeah,
And so sometimes I will have an easily accessible point of reference in me that I'm able to say to somebody and give their password. And sometimes I haven't. And so if I haven't, and you've got someone sitting there just waiting for that one password or that one thing, it
yeah,
can ruin a whole reading.
yeah.
So you should want proof, and it should be specific proof. You know, I had someone quite recently in a reading that I paid for give me a piece of evidence that was, "Your grandmother is smiling at you." Now, that's not a piece of evidence. That is, you know,
Yeah.
could be anything, could
It
apply
could
to
be anyone.
anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So you need specifics. It should be true, but don't hold that medium hostage for that one thing that you've decided you want, because spirit will know and they will try and get it through to you. But the medium might not be able to receive that.
I know, and it's a big downfall because the expectation. It's like with
Yeah,
everything. Once you have an expectation, you're floored. It's not going to happen. So tell us
absolutely.
this. What is the most toughest challenge that you have faced since becoming a psychic medium?
Oh, I've had a few. Where do
Have
I
you?
want to go with that?
Well,
Um,
tell us the one that sticks out in your mind that you're like, oh my God, that was so challenging. I
I had
think
a
I could
lady,
remember actually because I've listened to your podcast. Go on,
I've
what
had a
you
few.
can? Yeah.
One that springs to my mind would be a lady that turned up. She'd booked a reading. It was when I was working in person. And then she
Oh,
unexpectedly brought her husband along, who was a non-believer.
okay.
And she just plonked. My room is really small. And she just came in with this man who didn't want to be there, thought I was a scumbag, uh, and and then said, "Can you prove to him that spirit exists?" And I
Oh
was quite
no.
early on in my journey, and I mean, I tried. I really tried.
Yeah.
But if there's anything that time has taught me, it's that you will never convince a skeptic,
Never.
and nor should you try. So don't bother.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was still trying to prove my mediumship to myself, and that was an hour of pain that took me. And this is the thing, if you
Yeah.
do a reading like that and you put yourself through it like that, the energy it costs you to do that reading and hold that space, it took me several weeks to
To get
recover.
over there. I yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
and it was
imagine so.
ghastly.
Like I would have, and haven't had it in a while, thank God, touch wood. I would have people bringing their husbands for a Reiki treatment, for the two of them to go together, and the husband be sitting there, and I'd be just like, oh my God, like this is so uncomfortable. He's been dragged to this, and because this is her belief. Will you talk to him about this? And this is what I believe in, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's just in Reiki. That's just in Reiki. And I was just like, I'm going to have to stop this because they were all bringing their husbands for the Reiki treatment and they were just sitting there yawning, like lying on the opposite bed, just yawning and stretching. And I'm like, I can't work with this. This is
Just
like,
disruptive energetically.
yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of people, they bring their husbands up at the end of a dem and they say, "Can you convince him?" And I'm like, "You've just watched me do mediumship for an hour and a half. If that didn't convince him, no,
And
like,
she's
no,
like,
I've got
I can't
nothing."
even convince my own husband. I'm not going
Yeah,
to be able to convince your husband as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wish. I'm trying my best here, but no, there's a limit to what I can do.
Yeah. So tell us this as well. What is the red flags when it comes to mediums out there that you see out there? Like, what is the
Ah,
red flags that we should look for?
the red flags for me are mediums that, number one, the big trend at the moment is overselling your mediumship. So I really believe, if you're going to be honest, if you're
Yeah.
putting clips of your good bits on social media, there
Yeah.
should also be clips of your less good bits. Because
Yeah.
that's, I think it's important to show that it's a mixed bag. I'm always shocked when people show nothing but these amazing moments, because then anyone that books with them
It's going to
expects
expect
that
that.
standard all the way through. And
Yeah.
mediumship does have an ebb and a flow.
Yeah.
I would look for whether what they are saying when they are talking about their mediumship overall
Yeah.
feels good and true to you. There's a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
Are they saying something because they really believe it, or are they saying it for social media views? Because if they're saying it just for social media views, that should be a bit of a flag for you that that person's not in alignment.
Yeah.
So find those kind of things. I would also say, weirdly, trust your gut. So if your friend recommends a medium to you, don't necessarily book with them. See if it feels right.
Yeah.
Because, as I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
spirit utilize us and our knowing to get the evidence through.
Yeah.
And so the right medium for you, Annie T, might not be the right medium for me, because your
Exactly.
medium might not be able to get the information from my grandmother that the medium over here can. And
Yeah.
so it's why I stopped doing gift vouchers, because people would have a reading with me and loved it. And then they would get a gift voucher for their friend who would be like, this is rubbish. This isn't what I wanted,
Yeah.
because it needs to have that kind of guidance factor. So spirit will guide you to the right mediums for you if you pay attention.
Yeah, you're going to be gravitating towards, and it depends on the work that you have done on yourself and your knowing in your foundations that, like, I know I'm only going to gravitate towards the right people because I'm in that right frame. But if I'm kind of questioning it and I'm a bit wishy-washy about myself, I'm going to bring in the wishy-washy. I'm going to bring in the lessons to just go, told you so. You weren't ready to learn your lesson. And you're like, I get it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
so much fun.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So Hannah, this is fun. This is really
Good.
cool. Yeah.
I'm loving
So
it.
the date for you coming over, it's only for 50 participants.
Yeah.
The tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. It's on the 22nd to 23rd of November. I am so excited, by the way, about getting
Too.
you back over for a few days and spending some time with you and showing you around Dublin, because we had such a great time, didn't we?
I did. Dublin, I mean, the small bit I saw through the gaze of Guinness was just amazing. So I can't wait. I can't wait to come back. I loved it. What an amazing place.
Yeah, well, we can't
Incredible.
wait to have you back, and I know there's a lot of the students that is really excited about getting their tickets and getting to spend a whole weekend with you. You know.
Yeah.
So listen, I just want to thank you so much for your time and to be able to share this with you. My teacher, my mentor. You're a great teacher. You're a great mentor. You keep it real, and I absolutely admire everything that you are doing and how you do it as well. And
Thank
you should be
you.
celebrated. Thank you so much.
Well, ditto right back to you, Annie T. Look at all the amazing stuff you're doing with your channeling and your students and inspiring people. It's the dream team.
It's a different energy, the Reiki, but since working with you, Hannah, the foundations with my link to spirit, it's kind of like I've got my foundations with my logical mind, and what I need to do, it's established in the healing, and now
Mm.
it's just like, right, okay, now I'm ready to kind of start working with the right hand side now, the right hemisphere of the brain, to just kind of balance that up. And that's where you came in, and I'm delighted that we crossed paths. I don't particularly like to be influenced, greatly influenced by others, but you are a great influence. You know, it's been all good since we've crossed paths, and I am delighted and excited to see what's next.
Me too. I can't wait. I cannot wait to come back in November. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to work with the students and see them have exactly what you're talking about, that
yeah.
magic of
That's
going,
what I
I
keep
can
saying
actually
to
do
them.
this.
Yeah, I keep saying that to them. I'm like, I'm nobody special. If I can do this, you can do this too.
Absolutely. Same
Yeah.
girl, same.
Okay, listen, thank you so much, Hannah. I really appreciate your time, and I will be seeing you in November. Thank you.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.